Hi, brother teacher. I want to share some martial arts knowledge with my viewing and listening audience for a moment. Now, to some that are experienced, who have some time in the martial arts, this may or may not be beneficial to you. But it could be beneficial from the simple standpoint that maybe my methodology and my explanation is a bit different than what you have been accustomed to. But I want to say this is primarily for beginners to intermediate students. But everyone else, please feel free to listen. I might add that martial arts is not always someone slamming another person into the floor or ground, pummeling your partner, or sparring sessions that's very aggressive, and executing ippon sanagi or ogoshi or taitoshi on someone, or jujikatami, all of these techniques on film just to get views and just to have someone think that you're the stuff. Martial arts is very much philosophical, and above all, it's spiritual. As a matter of fact, we go through the physical aspect of martial arts to achieve ultimately the spiritual side. Many people never reach that point, and they're always talking about who can kick the hardest, who has the best kata, who can punch harder than whom. It's not about that. So this particular video is for you to think and maybe revisit some of the things that you've been taught or mistaught, possibly if you're a beginner. It is not to put anyone down. It's just simply me sharing my own knowledge and or experience. Philosophy and or principles and concepts of my system, Jinindo. Jinindo is a Japanese word that means the very natural way. And what that simply means and or implies is that when I have a student that I am teaching, I don't hold their inability or their handicap or their weaknesses against them. I teach them how to function within their own parameters, within their own scope of ability, within their own skill set, and not try to impress upon them to be like someone else or to be like me. I want them to find their own truth, so to speak. Very natural. What is very natural to you? It is also predicated on using those things that are simplistic and practical, without all of the hoopla, without all of the flowery type of movements necessarily, even though I've learned some of those and many of those things coming up. In today's world, when people are aggressing you in a street confrontation, you must respond immediately. You don't have time to jump into a fighting stance. You don't have time, and you should not be telling someone, I'm a karate master, or I take karate, watch out. Please read between the lines, because all of this is instructional that I'm giving you right now. So if you have to go back and revisit this video, please do so. Record it, share it. Now, I believe shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and it is also directness. Now, most people in the Western world, they draw their hand back and they punch, which is typical of a boxer's mentality. Western boxing, you have your fighting stance, you draw your hand back and you punch. I believe that if my hands are up, I strike you from where my hand is. Now, some people, most people even, believe that they're going to generate more power when they pull back and swing because they really want to knock your head off or knock you out. That's true to some degree, but it does not make the short punch that hasn't been cocked or chambered. It doesn't make it ineffective. Some things have to be developed. Okay? Now, pulling back and punching, it's easier to punch from where you are. Punch from where you are. That's straight, and it is also direct. Another thing, another point, another principle is we don't walk around the majority of our lives with our hands clenched up. We just don't do it. The majority of our lives, our daily existence, our hands are open. So it would only stand to reason that the easiest weapon to use in a street confrontation would be your open hand. Yes, we utilize a 4-fist strike, a vertical fist, or chung choi, sun fist. We use hammer fist, back fist. Hands are closed. All right? But I believe in the open hand as well, because you can manipulate a situation and or your opponent much easier when your hands are open and when you have trained correctly and when you understand the human body. That's true. So we implement and or use palm strikes to the side and forward and even down. We also utilize what many karate call spear hand, byoji, nukate. That's a spear hand, right? You see, most of the time the hand is flat, like so. I believe that you curve the hand to solidify the strength of the fingers because they're all together in most instances. However, if you're striking to soft tissue such as the eye, your spear hand can be flat because the eyes are very vulnerable and there is nothing protecting the eye. So spear hand can be this way, executed, that is. It can be executed this way. Sorry about the vision there. It can be executed that way. It is still a spear hand, just the same. And there's the finger gouge that can be used effectively to soft tissue as well. The eyeballs to the hollow of the throat. You can also use your fingers to grab soft tissue such as the trachea, even the side of the neck. Okay? You can even grab an ear. But I would encourage you to make sure that you train your tools. What do I mean by that? I thought you would never ask. If you're going to use finger strikes and gouging and clawing techniques such as the tiger claw, okay, it is incumbent upon you to strengthen that part of your anatomy. I suggest a sand bag or a bag that's filled with chickpeas or even rice, a cloth bag. They sell them on the internet, but you can go old school and you can create your own. You can get your nice size pillowcase, maybe double it and fill it up with peas or something of that sort that I mentioned already. And you can strike it with your fingers. And you want to grab it with your fingers as well. You want to even have someone toss it to you and you grab it with your fingers. Okay? Now, this will help to strengthen your finger strength for gripping and for clawing, for gouging. Another thing that you want to do to strengthen those tendons in your fingers is to do finger push-ups. All 5 fingers. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. It's not many people who subscribe to doing finger push-ups. Bruce Lee made it pretty popular, the 2-finger push-ups and the 3-finger push-ups. But finger push-ups are an excellent way to develop finger strength. for what I mentioned earlier. You can start out doing a couple. Yes, I said a couple too, because you would be surprised how many people can't do even a regular push-up 5 or 10 times. From my experience, most people are weak in the upper part of the body, the shoulders and the arms. Okay, so you want to approach this with baby steps. Finger push-ups, you should be in a prone position. That is the same position that you would normally execute a regular push-up or a standard push-up, under your shoulders like this. Fingers on the floor beside you. Raise your body up straight, back straight, buttocks down and in line with your back. One push-up. When you come up, that constitutes one. You go down without your chest touching and back up to a second one. Now, most people won't be able to do 5 if you've never done these before. Now, once you're done with your push-ups, however many that you are capable of doing, shake it out to get the circulation going again. Don't be discouraged because it feels uncomfortable. Anything of worth is always worth it. Okay, it's worth the effort if it's of worth. Okay, so now, how often should you do these push-ups? You decide. I would suggest that you do them every day until you can build up to 10 or 20 finger push-ups. When you can do about 20 finger push-ups, your fingers are pretty strong, especially if you are a heavy individual, 200 pounds or more. Okay? Now, I said finger jabs, spear hands, palm strikes is what we use. We also use the knife hand. This is the fleshy part of the hand. When you strike a human being with your hand, this particular technique here, always be conscious, especially in your training, before you actually start striking someone. Always be conscious to not hit the wrist bone and to not hit the baby finger, especially when you're breaking boards. Okay, hit the fleshy part until you get accustomed to doing the technique and you develop muscle memory. Okay, this is typically called a knife hand or a sudo in Tong Sudo or Taekwondo, Korean martial arts, or it's called a shuto in Japanese and Okinawa karate. All right, it's executed this way. It's executed straight down, on the reverse, and in the Kung Fu systems, especially in my system, we execute it going forward as well. Okay, forward. It has a snapping, jarring type of motion. That is a knife hand. It is usually employed against soft tissue, such as, and bony tissue, if you will, such as the temple, and such as the side of the neck, where you have arteries that carry blood, in the throat, in the back of the neck, where the vertebrae are, on the shoulder, gallbladder 20, 21, the back, as far as pressure points are concerned, and even into the ribs or the groin area. Those are some of the common places that it is effectively used. Okay, that's the open hand. Not to mention, there's something that I left out, which is a slapping hand. You can also slap an opponent once you develop strength in your arm, your shoulder, and your hand. You can do wrist push-ups as well. We will visit that at another time, doing corrected wrist push-ups. But you can slap someone with the back of your hand, not the fingers, but the flat part of the back of the hand, or this part of the hand here. That is a strike as well. As I forestated, your hands are open most of the time. When someone punches at you, your open hand is faster than a closed fist. So when you block, what you call a block or a parry, an open hand is much quicker. And plus, again, you can manipulate your opponent's movements by trapping and attacking here and attacking. Let me be a little bit more explicit about what I just did, just in case you didn't get it. From my system, this is Wing Chun, and a principle from Wing Chun. This is called Pak Dor. This is a slap block. Okay? You pak and you punch, and it's done together, just like so, just like that. Opposite side, just like that. It's done together. The hand is open. This is textbook the way it looks. In an actual fight, when someone is attacking you, it's not going to look textbook. It's always going to look rough. Okay? Everything, for that matter, is always going to be rough. It's never going to be textbook the way you see it in an instruction manual or in a controlled environment. The most important thing is that you're able to walk away from the situation when it's all said and done. So it will look more like a monkey paw in a street fight. So it's here in punch. It's more slapping than that. Okay? And the other thing that you saw me execute, if you missed it a little bit, was tansao, or an outside knife type block. And you're attacking with the same hand. So it will be here, and we are moving forward into our opponent. We're not digressing. We're not backing away or retreating. So when someone throws a punch, my hand blocks that attacking arm on this side, and I go straight down that same path that they originated their punch from, their own shoulder. So while they're punching at me, I block or parry, and I travel down that same point of origin and attack the side of their neck or the side of their head to their temple or their jaw. Okay? So it's here and there. All one movement. Here and there. I'm breaking it down in an elementary fashion so that you can understand or comprehend what I'm trying to get across to you. So from here, when the punch comes, here, that's one step, and that's two, attacking. When they actually attack, it's here and there. It's one movement. Shortest distance between 2 points is straight line, and it's also what? Directness. I hope that this video of karate from my desk was of value to you. If it was, please leave me a comment and say that you did indeed benefit from it, or that you understand or comprehend a bit better than you did before. Like it and share it. And again, before I conclude, I want to say this again. There are some people that might perceive this video as boring. It's okay. It's not for you. You are that type of individual that does not understand the martial arts. We have a sign in the Chinese martial arts, in Tai Chi more respectively, called the yin and the yang. There's a white side and a black side, and they are swirling around each other, what appears to be in a dualistic fashion, but they complement one another. What I'm saying in essence is this, philosophically. You can't have all hard, nor can you have all soft. There has to be a male side and there has to be a female side. There has to be up and down. There has to be force and there has to be relaxation. You, the instructor, the master, the practitioner, must know how to discern between the two and how to learn to utilize them in harmony with one another in your martial arts and also in your lives. This is Brother Teacher. May Yahweh bless you. Stay strong.